Hey, everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem, our live podcast. It's Friday as always. And with me on the podcast tonight is Robbie Bloodshed. And we're going to talk to him about his new album release, his new album entitled The Cabin. And I've been supporting him ever since he was a itty bitty 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 feller. So, welcome to the show, bro. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. It's good to be on here. It's been a little while.
It's been like 18 years, seems like.
It's been a couple of years, you know.
Yep.
It's been a couple of years.
So you got a new album out, The Cabin. Let's talk about this, man. How excited are you to have this out, especially in a crazy time that we're in right now?
Yeah. You know, it's one of those things like, I'm one of those guys that never will just sit still. So, I had Cabin songs already planned since maybe early 2020. And I didn't even release my last album, Running Out of Time, until October of 2020. So I was already sitting, or yeah, is that correct? Yeah. And yeah, end of 2020, I released Running Out of Time. And I was already in the Cabin mode. You know what I mean? I was already planning for it. So it was just, it's one of those things like I couldn't sit on it much longer. Like I know there's like well, are you going to play shows to support it? Or are you going to tour on it? It's one of those things. Even if right now we can't do shows like we would want on it, I still want to release the album.
You still there? Did I lose your audio? Yep, lost him. Oh, the joys of technology, folks.
So I don't know what happened there.
It's technology, man.
Do you not want to? I'm good with Wi-Fi right now, so I don't know what's going on.
I hope it wasn't my side. But it probably was. But anyway, I can definitely understand the frustration being, having those songs written and be like, do we put this out or do we just still sit on these? Because I mean, that had to be annoying in a way, but you're so used to putting stuff out anyway,
Absolutely. It was very frustrating, but it is what it is. You just got to roll with the bunches,
What's impressed or excited you the most about making the new album, if anything, man? Do you see the growth on this album from, say previous albums or no?
Definitely. The most exciting thing was where we recorded. We recorded it in just in the middle of the woods in the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania.
Oh, nice.
And I rented a really tall wooden cabin, and we were able to capture really big acoustics for the drums and whatnot. So it was really fun to do that. And it was actually, we're going to plan to release it maybe around December, a documentary. My buddy Alexei, he goes by that Russian guy. He filmed a bunch of music videos for us. He came with us and he documented everything, and he's going to put together about a half-hour documentary on the making of the cabin. Because what we did was we just, between Mark and I, we have a bunch of recording equipment, and he borrowed a couple things from a studio that he knows and he works at, and we just brought all of our equipment and recorded.
How long did it take to record this album for you guys? Was it just a couple of days, or did it go more in depth than what you thought?
I did as much pre-production as I could, meaning like setting up the tempos and everything like that, and like any little keyboard stuff, any little piano stuff, little stuff like that. And then we went to the Poconos and we recorded it in 3 days. We set up everything.
Oh, wow.
And recorded it. Yeah.
Any tracks standing out more to you than any right now on the album? I mean, I know, man, it changes every time that you listen to it. I know these are your babies and everything, but are there any that stick out for you personally, Robbie?
That's a tough one. I personally, it changes, but right now, I think maybe that's a tough one, man. Right now, I'll say Feline Fight is my favorite, just because it's a bit different, and I like how that one came out. I
I want
really
to
do.
say to everybody who's out there listening, thank you so much. And for the ones who come back and watch the replay of this, thank you all also. And it looks like Georgia Q just put in here legends. You put in here that you guys are legends. So thank you so much for stopping in. And folks too, hey, stop in the chat room, say hi to Robbie if you have any questions. I mean, this ain't no ordinary podcast. I'll ask your questions. I don't care. This is for everybody. Robbie knows me. This is for everybody. It's not just for me. So,
Definitely.
All right. So, let's see here. Any tracks that didn't make this album, man, that we're gonna see down the road, possibly on an EP or another length?
Yeah, there's actually a bunch. I don't have plans right now to release them, but there was a couple that I thought were really strong, and we did a lot of work on them prior to even going to the cabin. But they just didn't fit the theme and like the flow. But they were good songs. Like I was very proud of them, and like even listening back now, I still like how they sound and whatnot. It's just they didn't fit the album. But yeah, there's a song called "A Lonely Tale" that's about. It's a really heavy track too, about the Robert De Niro Frankenstein. I don't know if you ever seen that one, but that's a phenomenal Frankenstein. That's like it's not like the Universal Monsters version. It's much more realistic, much more sad. And I when I watched that for the first time, I was like, "Fuck, I gotta write a track about this." And then there's a couple other ones that like are just like there's a song called "Spare My Despair," and that one it was really turned out to be a really nice. It's gonna sound funny, but like trippy song, like acoustic trippy song that's full band, but it's not like a boring acoustic track. It's very not psychedelic because I'm not a fucking hippie, but it's in that vein. You know what I mean? It is in that vein,
Yeah.
but it didn't fit the cabin. But eventually, it will make its way on a release. It just has to be the right time,
Right. Gotcha. Could be on a B-sides maybe, man. I like to see some of your B-side shit that you got. I know you have to have a ton of that stuff going back from when you
Dude,
started.
we already are working on a EP for. We are trying. Granted, the world's not over. We're trying to do a May tour, and I have in my head we're already started tracking for like a really curveball of an EP called "Too Hot to Smile," and it's fucking probably the most metal and hardcore
Oh wow.
that we've done. It's just a total curveball. Even the album art I'm having drawn up by this great artist in Indonesia. The album art is like very black metal inspired. It's gonna be a total. The thing is, like, I want to just throw curveballs to everybody, and that's the next step. People are just gonna be like, whoa, this is not something. Well, to give you, I don't want to spoil too much, but the slowest song is the bonus track, which is a track off Earth AD. That's the bonus track, and that's going to be the slowest song on the EP. So that's to give you a little insight of how intense it gets.
See, folks, this is what impresses me about Robbie. And I'm not saying this because he's on here. It's just like, man, this guy's like, ever since I've known him, he's like, here, bud, I got this EP out. Check it out, see if you like it. Yeah, like 3 months later, he's like, working on another one. I was like, oh my God. I mean, he's like, and I'm not meaning this to knock nobody whatsoever. I'm just saying if there were a ton of people that had your drive, I mean, that'd be awesome. But I don't see how you don't get burnt out, man.
What the thing is, like, there's a lot of people that say they live and breathe this shit. That's literally all that's on my mind every day is what could I do with, the Robbie Bloodshed thing.
See?
You know what I mean? Like it's all I do. You know what I mean? Every day. Yeah, people say, "Oh yeah, I'm all about music," but really, that's all I do. I don't have any other hobbies.
Yeah.
I don't do anything. You know what I mean? It's just always on my brain.
Same way with me and BODS Mayhem. I mean, I'm always constantly pumping something out or I'm trying to come up with some ideas.
Yeah.
Man, it's like,
Milton the Monte. Hey, what's up,
yeah.
man? That's my boy. That's John. A good guy. He has a great band, Voice of Doom. They have a really good cover of a track from Earth AD as well.
Thanks for stopping in, Milton. I appreciate it, man. Honestly, thanks for stopping in, Milton. Yeah, I got denied Alice Cooper, but that's a whole other story. Hey, you know, man, you move on. There's other ones to get. So, you know, hey,
absolutely.
But it's like I said, man, you are always pushing that envelope on like what else I can do. I mean, it's like all these EPs that you've had in a total, man. How much do you have in your library? You think?
Let me count the full lengths that I have online right now. The Last Nerve, which is a full length. Main Street of Betrayal, full length. Dazzling Mad. 21 and On, Running Out of Time, The Cabin. But that's just the full lengths.
Oh yeah, and that's not counting the EPs and stuff. Yeah, and the one-offs.
Yeah.
Jesus,
the EPs
man,
a lot. And I mean, EPs. There's the just regular that's called EP with an angel on it. There's the You'll Be Mine single, Vile Carnality. There's a lot of fucking shit, man. There's a lot of stuff. There's too much to get. A lot of shit.
So, okay, so you had the Cabin that was already in production during the pandemic. So this has started happening. Was this also during the pandemic when you started working on this Curveball album that you wanted to do, or was this after the Cabin?
What are you talking? What are you talking? Oh, no, you're talking the next EP. That one we just started working on a couple weeks ago. That we're gonna release in May. But no, the Cabin. So the Cabin we set to record on the weekend following my birthday. So my birthday's April 9th. I think we recorded it the 16th or something like that. Yeah, it was a crazy timeline, man, because what happened was we were contacted by this small record label in Brooklyn, New York, called Least of All Recordings. And what they do is they bring in bands and you set up a pre-order, and people pre-order a song. You put up a bunch of songs, whatever songs that you have up, and people could order the song, and you perform it live in the studio, and it goes direct to vinyl on like an old 50s lathe cut. So
nice.
However many pre-orders you get is how many times you perform. So we had I told them to cut it out at 25, but we had 29 pre-orders. So that means we had to record in a matter of 3 hours, but that's also including setup time, 29 songs.
Oh my
God. We did it. We did it, and it sounded really good. I practiced for that. I trained for that like Rocky did for Apollo Creed, because it doesn't 29 songs, whatever. But vocally, it's hard to sing, because we had 8 orders for the song Running Out of Time, which is a very taxing song to sing. So I had to do that 8 times in a row live. There's no overdubs, so any cracks that happened, shit like that. It was very it was difficult. It was very difficult, but it was fun. So we did that, I think March 22nd, if my memory serves me correct. Then the following day, I somehow got COVID. And then I had to be in the house for about, because I know exactly how I got it. And but it wasn't during the vinyl session. It was the following day, because I saw somebody was exposed, and then a couple of days later, I found out. But I was wiped out for 2 weeks. That's the end of March. So now I'm already, by I think like my birthday, I was just getting over COVID and shit, or I was able to go out and whatnot, and I was wiped out from it. I really was. Then I had to gear up, and I had to really study the shit for the Cabin. So it was literally bam, 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 and then we went in for recording.
So when you got COVID coming out of this, did it affect you any at all on this recording? Did it affect you, like, as far as like breathing, stuff like that? Because I mean that's a part of it.
Luckily, no. It was just the thing is, like, the voice is a muscle, and I needed to re-strengthen it after, because I didn't sing for about 2 weeks. So it was just a matter of re-strengthening it, and then once I did it, it's all muscle memory. So I didn't have, thank God, I didn't have any long-term effects, but
Now you also play drums on tracks one, which is Prelude to Darkness, and then three, which is Calling the Starfleet, and then on track 8 alone. Was this a little bit different for you, man?
No, I mean, on The Last Nerve, Main Street Betrayal, and Dazzle Mad, I'm the only drummer on those albums. Um, so it really wasn't a big transition. The only reason I drummed on those tracks was Mark is more than capable. Mark is a better drummer than me, but I had such a specific thing in my head for those songs that I wanted to do it. And Starfleet is actually, you'll see in the documentary, was a very spur of the moment thing. Like Mark, like I said, Mark he's undeniably he's an amazing drummer. He's a better drummer than me, absolutely. But there was just something specific about Starfleet that I wanted that he wasn't. Not that he wasn't getting. It's just there's only so much you could verbalize in music terms.
Right.
And
right.
so I was like, would you be offended if I try? Mark is such a chill guy. He didn't care. So I went in without playing it ever, and I just recorded it, and that was that. It came out. I'm pretty happy with how Starfleet came out.
And I love it, man. The group that you guys have up there, the nucleus, man, of the punk guys and rock guys is like everybody helps out everybody. It's like, hey, I'll help you on this album, and then it's so cool on how there's everybody intertwines with each other. That's so cool, man.
Yeah.
I have Mark in this,
Mark's a phenomenal bandmate.
Yeah.
He's a very integral part in what I do. He's a very, very integral part nowadays. He's good. And I have Alex. Alex plays bass. He was originally playing rhythm guitar, but I had him switch to bass, and he's a phenomenal bass player. He actually, way back when I first started doing this, he was playing guitar for me when I first started the band, like my first couple shows. He was an original member, and then he left because he was focusing on his own stuff and whatnot. And we got him back in 2017 or so, and he's been back since. And he's a very important part of the band as well. He's not just like, I try to make sure, because I would never want just side guys, because there's no point in side guys. There's no point in hired guns. Alex and Mark are definitely a big part of the sound nowadays, and they're a big part of the sound on the Cabin because they play on every track.
Is Mark still part of Birth and Painting, or did that fall through?
I don't think Birds and Painting is active, but they're not broken up. It's just their bass player moved, so I don't think they're active, but I don't think they're broken up, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I got you. And then plus you're still having that with Vigora, correct?
No, I haven't been. Mark and I parted with Vigora in late 2019, not on any bad terms or anything like that.
Right.
I wanted to focus solely on my stuff, and it's a lot because Vigora, I mean, they're a very talented band. It's not one of those bands that you could just be like, oh yeah, I'll get together with you at the show. Like, you need to go.
Right.
I needed to go up to Rhode Island, which is about 3.5 hours, 3 hours every 2 weeks. So it was a lot. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. It wasn't feasible, but Peter and I are very good friends still. It was never a bad thing.
Right.
It was never a fallout or anything like that.
Yeah, I think Peter's a phenomenal singer too. And that's just my opinion.
Phenomenal.
Good. Yes. Yeah. Was there a track, man, that you guys were working on that totally ended up sounding different than what it was brought to the table then?
I'm trying to think. I want to say Prelude to a Darkness changed quite a bit, and also that's a good question, man. My Hanging Age, the final track on the album, changed quite a bit. It was a bit it just evolved over time and whatnot. And so for basically how I arranged that was the intro and the outro of the album are both on harp. I played the piano, and then I was able to send the score of the piano to a harp player in Brazil named Mercedes, and she transposed what I played on piano to harp, and I had her play the intro and the outro. So how the album starts and finishes is the same. You know what I mean? Like it starts with harp, and then the entire album is full out balls, punk rock, and then it ends again with harp. And it, if you play on a loop, it makes sense in context.
How did the pandemic affect musicians up in your area, man? I mean, did everything just like shut down completely, or how did it affect
Yeah,
you guys personally?
New Jersey definitely, and New York City because we're so close.
Mm-hmm.
It totally put a halt on everything. Things are starting to kind of come back now, but shit's still getting canceled and whatnot.
I know I see a lot of venues being shut down, and especially music stores. It's like that's heartbreaking. Anything
A
there,
lot
man?
of clubs in New Jersey,
Mm.
and New York closed that we would play at. We played at a place called the Pyramid Club. They closed. We played at a place called Desmond's Tavern in Manhattan. That closed. There was a place we used to play called Brighton Bar in Long Branch. We opened for Doyle there a couple times, and they just closed too. So it's all because of the pandemic.
That's sad.
There's only a handful of venues that are actually good in New Jersey, New York nowadays that we'll play at because everything is closing, man.
That was going to be my next question. Do you think it's going to be harder now for you guys, especially like independent bands, man, to get on these bills and get on these venues to get a chance?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be more challenging for like booking tours and stuff like that because a lot of contacts and whatnot at venues are no more.
Mm.
So it's going to be a lot of searching for the future.
And I don't mean this in a bad way, and I hope people don't think I'm, evil when I say this, because I'm definitely not. I think the pandemic was kind of a blessing in a darkness way, but for bands, because it's put everything on an even playing field, if that makes sense for everybody. Like putting stuff out now and doing live stream shows. It puts like, neighbor next door who's got a band on an even playing field now, I think.
That makes sense. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, that's just me, because if you take these other bands, these big national bands who are constantly touring, and this is a change for them. Like, how are we gonna get new music out? How are we gonna do this and do that? I've seen a lot of people do live streams, but I just think, man, it's good for these local bands, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I totally.
So what about the artwork, man? Who did this artwork for the cabin?
The artwork changed a bunch.
Oh, wow.
It originally we had two other people on the album cover that were supposed to be on the album,
mm-hmm.
and we fucking just ended up, they ended up separated and shit like that. So I had to get it changed a bunch. But I took the photos of us on the album cover.
Mm-hmm.
I put it up on a timer. I set up the shot, and then I took the pictures of me, Mark, and Alex, because it's actually one big photo. And then I knew exactly what I wanted. I had this artist, Diana Greb, in Russia. She did the Running Out of Time artwork as well, which is probably my favorite album cover. And then I had her do this, and I said, I want us to be cut out, looking like it. I wanted it, first of all, obviously it's a very retro looking album cover. I wanted it cut out, and then I had this image of the background that I gave her to put it on, and she kind of did that. But I took the photos, and then she edited it together with what I said.
Right there is the photo.
Hey, there it is.
That's it right there. It's pretty badass, actually, in a way.
I
like that.
Thank you.
I also got your link there too to some of your stuff, so people can go and check it out. Let me see. Let me hide this now. There we go. So let me go to the next question. I know you see yourself still musically growing, but what part of of your style, man, or your music that you see growing personally, man? Is it just, learning music better, or is it just how to, uh, write lyrics? I mean, what's your strongest part that
Um,
you've seen you grown with?
that I've seen grown over the years. You say?
Yeah, yeah, with you.
Um, Honestly, the lyrics and the the way I approach the guitar, but the lyrics and the harmonies and whatnot definitely have grown the most. With songs nowadays, and you could read it on, like if you read the lyrics for the cabin. I try to be as poetic as I can because I don't want. I mean, there's certain songs that should be black and white. They should be very straightforward.
Mhm.
Like a song "Barbara Boards and Nails." Alex wrote that. That one, it would have been dumb if it was very like abstract and whatnot. That song calls for what it is, and it's a great song. I'm very happy with what Alex brought for that one. But there's certain songs like "Don't Lose Your Head," which Alex did the lyrics for. Very poetic, very beautiful. Um, then a song like I wrote "Alone" on the album. Uh, that's one of my most, I feel, not abstract, but it is pretty abstract. Like if you didn't know what it was about. But I try to write poetry with my songs nowadays. I don't want it to just be a rhyme scheme. You know what I mean? Like it's got to
Sure.
be each line has to have a little bit of like icing on it. You know what I mean? So there's that, which is definitely grown over the years, just because I try to, like, I feel like over the past couple years especially, I try to read poems and not copy them, but at least take
Get an idea.
inspiration of how they're written. There's an artist, Charles Bukowski, which there's a song on my album called Feline Fight. I read this Charles Bukowski poem called History of One Tough Motherfucker. And I was on a walk, and I was like, wow. I was like, that's beautiful. You know what I mean? Something hit me. So when I read that, I was like, I want to write a song partially about this, partially about other stuff, but um, I want to write it in that vein. And that's kind of like what that's something I've been learning over the years. I feel that wasn't there because I was just, I was a teenager just writing basic stuff, learning what to do and what not to do. But nowadays, I feel like I'm taking it up a level with that kind of approach.
I want to go back here and talk about Marcus and Alex. Having these guys in the band with you, Robbie, have they, I don't know, pushed you a lot to become a better writer, musician, everything with these guys inside the, when
Um,
you guys work on stuff?
I feel like I try to write. It's not so much push me, but like well, I guess in a sense, yes, push me, but like I try to write songs nowadays like with them in mind.
Hmm.
Like especially there's a couple songs, especially on the cabin, like "Take My Ghastly Hand." That was written specifically knowing Mark was going to drum on it, so I wrote to his strong points. And there's a couple songs like I knew, I'm trying to think of a specific track. Harlot of the Night, I knew Alex would kill. Playing what he played on that. There's certain songs that it's not so much push, but like I try to write to their strengths, and it push. So yes, in a sense, it does push me in a bit. You
So
know.
I know that you have, let's see, well, so Take My Ghostly Hand or Ghastly Hand, that's a single off this one, if I'm not mistaken.
That
Uh,
was the first one.
yeah.
We're gonna be releasing another music video. We have almost a music video for every song off this album.
Oh, geez.
But yeah. So the next one we're going to be releasing in a couple weeks called Carl Starfleet. We just got the final cuts of that because that one it took months and months to do because it's half animation, half live action.
Hmm.
So it was a lot for the artist to do because it's a legit like cartoon for half of it. It's not goofy or anything like that. Cartoon, like it's a really well done mix of us performing it and cartoon, and then they kind of blend in the end.
Oh,
That
that's
one's
not
going to come out in a couple weeks, and we have a double feature music video with two songs for a song called Feline Fight and Alone. Then we have one that we're going to be releasing for Halloween called Barbara Boards and Nails. So we have a lot coming up. There's a lot.
again, folks, I want to thank everybody who's out there in the chat room watching this, listening to this. If you want to come in and just say hi to Robbie or have a question for Robbie, just put it in the chat room if you can. We'll see it here and we'll ask. And especially, I want to thank everybody who comes back and watches this replay later on. So I totally appreciate that. And so take my ghostly. I keep saying ghostly. What the hell? Take my gas. Jeez. My Lord. What led that to be the first single? Was that just the first one you guys, got done and said, okay, let's put this out?
That was actually the first song written for this album. Yeah, it was the first one, and that kind of set the mood for the rest of the album. Even though they don't songs that don't sound like that on the album, because each song is pretty different genre-wise, even though it all sounds like it belongs together. But Gasoline Hand definitely was the mood setter of what the album should be like.
I gotta ask this. I know this is a crazy question, but I mean, if somebody asked you to define Robbie Bloodshed in one of your songs, which one would it be? And I know you've got a ton of songs, but which one that you gravitate to possibly? It says, yeah, that's
it's a tough one, man. I want to say Fallen Heroes, probably. That usually is a fan favorite. Or even just random people at shows usually afterwards will say, like, oh, what was that song, Fallen Heroes? Or which album it's on? Like, I assume maybe that, but I really, that's a hard one, man. Because the sound just evolves over time. Like, I never really stick to one thing. And I know it sounds like, oh, this was this fucking pompous motherfucker, but it's true. Like, the stuff, each album kind of, maybe I'll say the definitive, maybe he's running out of time because it has a mixture of all those things. I really don't know. That's a good one, though. That's something to think about.
So do you still have a go-to album or song, man, that you find yourself gravitating back to listen to from time to time? Maybe. I mean, not even your own music, but just a Queen album or something. Because I know you're a big Queen fan, but I mean, just anything.
Just the Static Age album by the Misfits. I could listen to that. I could listen to that every day. That never gets old. No, it's a perfect fucking album.
Static Age, Angel Fuck, Attitude.
Oh yeah. Hybrid.
Yes. Yeah. God, that album's good.
Every song on that album is flawless in my opinion. That's my favorite album. Yeah, that's it. Every song is fucking amazing.
I'll never forget the day I went and got the Misfits box set. I missed school to go get it. I skipped school to go get it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, my friend was like, hey, I'm heading to Pikeville. I'm going to go to the record store. And I was like, oh, here's my chance to go get the Misfits album.
That's awesome.
So I was going to go over there, and I went with him and ended up buying the Misfits box set. And I was like, yeah, that's it.
That's awesome.
And that was it. Rest is history. I mean, I've got tons of
that album is the Static Age album is just it's a flawless punk rock album. It really is. There's not a bad track on it. There's not one.
Mm-mm.
Not one. But we actually have.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We recorded, and I actually have physical copies of a single I wrote called "Cheers for Fears," and it features Mr. Jim, the drummer from the Static Age album. We're going to be releasing that first. I haven't announced anything for it yet because we have a show booked October 29th in Tampa, Florida at the Brass Rail. And Mr. Jim is going to be playing drums, and my buddy Jamie Furness from Rip Snorter is going to be playing bass. And that lineup recorded a single that I wrote, plus a Misfits track from Static Age. And I just got the masters for that a couple weeks ago. I got CDs made, and we're going to be releasing that. I haven't announced that yet just because I'm focusing on the cabin, but that is absolutely done. And we're going to release that at a show in Halloween.
See, folks, that's what I'm saying. Look I mean, what else do you have in your back pocket that you're not telling us, bro? Come on. What the hell?
Yeah, no, that one is going to be real cool. That one was mixed by the same guy who did the cabin. His name's Sean. He at SRG Studios. He's the guy who recorded Blitzkid's Apparitional. He recorded and mixed and mastered Argyle Goolsby's newest full length, and he did the Crypt Keeper 5's albums. Phenomenal engineer, mixer, master. He mixed and mastered The Cabin. He mixed the Running Out of Time, and he mixed and mastered that single I was just telling you about with Mr. Jim, Cheers for Fears.
Did you pick up the new Blitz Kid
I did
release
not,
last night?
but I heard it. It sounded good.
Oh my god, it's great. I bought it. I mean,
Yeah, that's awesome.
don't try to get me to pronounce the name of the album because I just can't do it. But yeah, the new one.
Ad nauseum.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. That's on there. I can't believe that we lost Joey Image too.
Yeah, that sucks, man. That sucks.
I was friends with him,
Cancer.
man, and started, we started talking and everything, and then just all of a sudden he's like, "Bro, I'm very ill." And I was like, "Oh God!" I was like,
Sucks.
hope everything turns out. So keep me posted. And I didn't hear nothing for a very long time.
Fuck.
And then it just one day, man, I see it on Facebook. Joey Image passes away.
Terrible.
It's like, what? What the hell?
Yeah.
Very fortunate I got to interview him. Very fortunate.
I heard he was a nice guy. I never got to meet him. He was one of the only originals that I haven't. I talked to him a couple times online, but I never really had a conversation. But I've heard nothing but good things about him.
Yeah, again, I'm slow to the YouTube thing, so I have stuff that's in my back pocket like Robbie, but he's ahead of me with all this other stuff. Anyway, but I'm eventually going to be able to put all these interviews up, and trust me, I've got close to 4,000 interviews. So you're talking about 11 years worth, maybe more.
Jesus
Christ,
Christ,
Robbie knows he's been, me ever since I started. I mean,
yeah,
this has been insane. So, next week, I think next week I got Peter on here from Vigora. I think that's
he was telling me that he's coming on.
And like I said, man, I've always done this for you guys. It's just not about me. It's for all you guys, locals, and
appreciate you having me, dude.
Yeah, and like I said, folks, you need to go out and pick up all of Robbie's stuff. You'll start from like EPs and work your way up. Don't go backwards. But I'm just telling you, man, the growth, and I'll just tell you this right now, the growth that I've seen you as a musician from start to when I got into listening to you to now is just night and day.
I mean, appreciate it.
It's like I can tell, the growth of your guitar playing, and I'm not knocking you or anything like that. I'm just saying the growth.
No, I appreciate it, man. I do, because it's something I work at, and it's funny because other people said like, oh, I don't mean to offend, but like, no, it's a great thing. If I was playing the same level as I was 5 years ago, or even just 2 years ago, I'd be like, what's the fucking point? So I appreciate when people say that I notice the difference, which is
it's like Zach Wild's always said, I've seen interviews with Zach saying, constantly practice.
Absolutely.
6-7 hours. I mean, whatever it takes.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I can definitely, and I'm proud of you, man. I'll just say right now, I'm very proud of you guys, of what all you guys have done. The Crypt Keeper 5, fucking a good band. I don't think they get enough respect, in my opinion. Like I said, Vigora is another good band. You guys, especially what you guys do. And I wish Darrow Chemical Company would come out with some good stuff, man, or do something. JV and them, man, they were fucking amazing too. And I don't know what happened with everybody. I don't know if it's just times or what.
Yeah.
But it sucks, man. I wish all y'all was back together. All these bands. So what else do you have coming down the pipe? Are you going to try to reschedule some of these shows? I see. Oh God, here we go. Here's the list. I can see it right
now. Yeah, we have basically what came, because we were supposed to play in Salem on the 11th of September, Salem, Massachusetts. That one's going to be rescheduled for early next year. We were supposed to be playing a show, spoiler alert, with Richie Ramone, but that's gonna, I believe, get rescheduled for March around. Don't quote me, but it's supposed to be rescheduled for around then. That will definitely, I think, if we're available, we'll do. And then, we have the October 29th show, and that's kind of a different kind of show, though. That's not like a traditional Robbie Bloodshed show because we have such a different set list and it's a different guys backing me. It's with Mr. Jim and Jamie. So that's October 29th in Tampa, Florida. But aside from that, we're going to try to book for May a tour, as long as the world's not over.
All right. So with all this music that you have in your back pocket and new stuff that you tease a little bit about, but do you find it hard for you guys to come up with a set list, or is
it? Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely been like a discussion that we always have because we don't know. Basically, how I have been doing the set list is I'll tailor it for the show. If I know there's more punk bands, we'll bring out the punkier stuff. If there's heavier shit, we'll play some heavier shit. That's basically how I've been gauging it now because we just have too much stuff. You know what I mean? Like play to our strengths, basically.
That's a good problem to have because at least you don't have to say, well, we're still touring on this one album. And
yeah.
You know, like Metallica, 15 years.
Well, I did like what they did with Hardwired. I thought that was their best album in fucking probably 20-something years.
I like Metallica.
It. I like Hardwired. Self-Destruct was just such a comeback to their thrash roots. You know what I mean?
It's like a kick in the face, man. In a way.
That's a phenomenal album. And I really like the music videos they did, I think, a music video for every song on that album too.
Oh, good Lord. I didn't know that. I didn't know that part.
Yeah, no, like if you look, I'm pretty sure. That album is great. It's a great album.
Hopefully this next album that they're going to be coming out with is, I don't know.
Oh, they've been working on something?
As far as I understand, that's what I've been hearing, but who knows? You hear all kinds of shit. So, but Hardwired, man, was a very, very good album. Very good album.
Oh, yeah.
And there's not a bad song on it. And that's just me.
Yeah. Moth to the Flame is great. Hardwired is great. There's a bunch of great tracks off that.
All right, folks. It's about that time that we say goodbye. But as always, I thank you guys for coming on here and checking out the BODS Mayhem Hour Live podcast. It means the world to me just to have everybody on here, and especially my guests. I've supported Robbie ever since I've known him. I got to listen to his music and everything. So you can check Robbie out here. And what about can people still pre-order the cabin or no? Because I saw something earlier that something's already sold.
They could buy the cabin. Like there's still one bundle sold out, like with the yellow shirts, but one bundle is still up with the black shirts with the Take My Ghastly Hand design on it and shit like that, and with the buttons and whatnot. So yeah, it's still available. You can order that on RobbieBloodshed.com.
There you can follow Robbie on Facebook.
Yeah.
Follow him on Bandcamp.
Yeah.
I think Bandcamp's a very, very cool thing for.
It's great.
Mm-hmm.
It's great because the people could get physical copies, but then as soon as they get the physical, they get a digital download with it. So it's very convenient for us.
See, and that's what I do. I go straight to Bandcamp, or either I'll purchase it actually from the artist himself. I'll go directly to them. But Bandcamp, man's a good way for you guys. Let's see. There's the Bandcamp. Let's go here. There is the Instagram. And there is Robbie on Twitter. And if you want to keep up with BODS Mayhem Hour, there's the podcast feed. There is the BODS Mayhem. Especially, please subscribe to BODS Mayhem Hour YouTube page. I honestly, please. I'll even get on there and sing Baby Shark drunk and eat a bologna sandwich or something. That'll get you guys to subscribe to it or something other. But no, just kidding. I won't do that. I won't do that. Whoa. There's the Facebook for BODS Mayhem Hour, and hey, there's Twitch too. I'm all over the place. I'm on every streaming platform that they're out there just about. And maybe we'll get Robbie back on here in December and do an acoustic set.
We'll
like a storyteller. So he can take over BODS Mayhem Hour podcast. I'll shut the hell up. And then he can say, you go sit down, Bod, and I'll play. And I'll eat my popcorn.
Absolutely.
Oh, my God. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, and I'm
Thank
very
you for
proud of
having
you.
me, dude. I appreciate it, man.
Folks, thank you guys for tuning in this evening again. As I've said, thank you all so much, and especially everybody who's out there listening and watching, and especially the ones who come back and watch the replay of this. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I don't do this for me. I do it for all of you guys and gals out there. And stay tuned for next Friday. I believe Peter from Vagor is on the schedule for next Friday, and I also have some podcasts coming up this Monday. So, hey, we got some great stuff coming up. So, Robbie, again, thank you, sir.
Thank you, man.